Welcome back. Welcome back to the course Privacy and Security in Online Social Media. Now we are in the week 5, part 3. If you remember, the week 5 has been building on week 4 in terms of fake content identification. Again, I hope you're enjoying the class, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop it on Discord. I'm seeing very less traffic on discourse, but it'll be nice if more of you can join the discussion, ask questions, and more of you can join even the weekly live sessions. We are seeing few of you. It'll be nice to have more of you join the weekly sessions also. So what we'll cover today is primarily looking at misinformation on WhatsApp, right? There can be arguments made saying why WhatsApp is not a social network. WhatsApp is one-to-one messaging platform. It basically has network, right? You are here, you are sending messages can be forwarded. Right, so these kind of things can happen. You can send it to as many people as possible, all that. So I'm just using that as a basis to look at WhatsApp as a content for this course, and of course we will discuss some of these things as we go also. I don't have to introduce WhatsApp to you, but within the context of what we are going to look at and why it is important to study, some points are here, which is a messaging platform, encrypted chat application. It is claimed that it's an end-to-end. When you start WhatsApp, it says, right, end-to-end encryption, which is the phone wants to send a message, it puts a message, it gets encrypted, it is sent over the network, and then there is some level of decryption happening. If you see, this is locked and this is unlocked, some level of decryption is happening, and then the text is decrypted, and the receiver is actually able to read the message. Right? You can easily see any simple method to encrypt can be applied, right? Saying that I will do a simple dictionary type of changes, right? So I will say that all A's changes to D, right? 2 shifts, right? B and C is the shift in between. So all characters you write A to Z, 0 to 9, and every content that is there will get 2 shifted, which is B will be E, C will be F, something like that. Simple methods from there till whatever advanced methods that you can think of. So it's basically a phone-based device and no algorithms, multimedia heavy, which is it's not like a Facebook, right? Number of times it is liked, it can change the way it is showed. It's not like LinkedIn, it's not like Twitter, where there is a comment, and when you search for it, the most commented tweet can come up in the search results. None of that is happening. Very, very straightforward, simple. There is a text, there's a message, there's an image that is sent, it shows on top. That's it. Right? You can actually set up a few of your accounts to be pinned in the WhatsApp on top, but beyond that, nothing much is done in terms of algorithmically changing the way that the content is presented. But it's media heavy. I'll show you some examples, and I'm sure you know it more than me. Text, video, audio, everything is sent. I know people who don't even type. I mean, it's not that they don't know to type. There are even that kind of use cases over WhatsApp where people are using it for doing business without even knowing how to write a sentence, right? Because they're just speaking. They know speaking. They speak their mother tongue, let's say Tamil, They don't know to read or write, but they're doing business just by recording the voice and sending it on WhatsApp. And I know even my relatives who don't even type. They can type, but they are just, you can speak and convey a lot more, including with the emotions on WhatsApp, right? Instead of typing the text, and it takes so much time in typing the text also. And why WhatsApp? Different demographics than the compared social media that we have seen. There's different comparison to Facebook, Twitter. I mean, in our case, we may be in all of them, but generally the WhatsApp community, WhatsApp demographics is very, very different from our Twitter community. Different platform and use cases, different use cases. As I said, people do business on top of WhatsApp. They do business on WhatsApp also, but these are business done on selling vegetables, right? That kind of business. Different content, of course, multimedia and text that I've already said, has an effect on education, social services, governance, social fabric, all of that, right? Today, if you see, at least during the COVID days, schools ran things just only on WhatsApp, right? Parents got into groups. Even now, I think parents are on WhatsApp groups where teachers send materials. That teacher sending materials and things like that have reduced, and they have started using more of the learning management tools now. But otherwise, WhatsApp was a primary way by which many schools were interacting. Of course, social services, government interactions, right? Today, you can actually tweet at the rate Indian Railways and say that my train. This was one of the popular tweet, and it became very interesting how these kind of civic services can be done. Is my train X need a wheelchair for my father getting down at the station, blah blah blah, at this time, right? So this kind of a tweet became very popular, where the person who did the tweet actually got the wheelchair waiting for him when he got out of the train. There are so many examples of using social civic services on social platforms. On WhatsApp also, the example that I gave you is not on WhatsApp, but WhatsApp also there are chatbots that are built on WhatsApp where you can actually talk to government services. You send a message and then it will respond to you in terms of what agri-tech, right? There are many solutions in agricultural space where they've built this chatbots where you want to ask a question about what pesticide to use, or this plant to this seeds to sow right now. Is it the good conditions to do this? All that. Those are getting answered by on WhatsApp. Here are some interesting statistics, right? 100% of Brazil internet population is actually on WhatsApp. For us, it's 500 million Indian users are on WhatsApp, right? It's not just a it seems to be geographic probably influenced, India and Brazil, but large number of people actually use WhatsApp. So what is used for? Payments has come on WhatsApp, and people are using it for paying. Of course, social networking in some sense that I described. Not a real sort of say social network like a Facebook or a Twitter, which can be large, millions of users also can be connected to you, but definitely a network of people interacting among each other. Information consumption, different forms of information are consumed, right? Meaning from good morning message, I think you will see some articles also saying people just sending good morning messages in India and good morning pictures are actually very, very common. I don't know how many of you connect to it, but I think there are many groups that send these good morning motivational messages, right? So in our case, WhatsApp is big in India because 1.5 billion monthly active users, 500 million daily active users, 5 billion pictures are shared every day, more than 340 million minutes of communication calls daily, over 60 billion text, 100 million audio, and 55 million video calls daily done. Large, phenomenally influential platform in the country. So it is necessary that we study that platform from whatever concepts that we have already seen, right? How it is being used. In this particular, given that this is week 5, we are particularly going to look at how fake news, misinformation is actually spreading on WhatsApp. COVID-19 on WhatsApp fueled surge of fake news in India. 950 IT cell had 72,000 WhatsApp groups. How our party is using WhatsApp for influencing people, how communicating with people, all of that, right? Huge influence in terms of, I'm sure in the morning when you get up, WhatsApp is one of the few things that you actually check, right? But there's also problems, any of these platforms, right? For example, Facebook, if you see Twitter, all of these platforms also come with their own drawbacks, right? Facebook has been having huge problems in terms of fake news being spread, who's responsible for spread. Hate content on Twitter is very high. What can you do about it? All of that. So WhatsApp also, internet is filling up with, this is the one I was saying, internet is filling up with, filling up because Indians are sending millions of good morning text messages, right? How WhatsApp is fueling a sharing revolution in Sudan. 5 killed in latest mob attack after rumors of social media. Here's what you need to know about India's WhatsApp murders. Right? Of course, these are problems. Otherwise, also in the society, we've been talking about it, right? Society, there are these kind of issues, anyways. But the so to say increase, the derivative in which it happens, and the quickness in which it happens, quickness in which it spreads, are all the reasons why it is important to study. WhatsApp is a peer-to-peer network. It's a one-to-one messaging system. It's decentralized. It is trusted than others because I think it has more of this encryption, more of these, so to say, messages being controlled, messages being not read, not possibly read by others. Even WhatsApp will not be able to read the messages because it is encrypted at both the ends. And no likes, no shares, no followers. I think you have now these likes, but I don't know what happened and why did they bring it. Personally, I don't know whether I really see them also. When I see the likes or thumbs up messages on my post, I generally end up actually missing it. But there's no, that is not the sort of say basis on which many of this content is getting generated or can be measured. Large-scale influence not possible because of the effect of the number of people you can actually forward it, 256 or some number that is there, which is the number of people you can actually send the message to. If you're part of a group, it can be forwarded only to n number of people, all of that. Right? So given that is the nature of the platform, it kind of helps, right? It kind of helps in many ways, right? Look, you cannot have a lot of influence like Twitter on WhatsApp. You cannot use the platform for influencing people, right? Because the networks are very small. You cannot study the platform for how much the content is being perceived. It's not a platform for likes and shares and comments, right? So therefore, there is control over shares. Likes are not the way in which these platforms are used. So there's no follower idea. So what do you do in this platform, right? How do you measure influence in this platform? Very, very hard. A lot of things that we are going to be talking about is work done by Kiran. He's a faculty at Rutgers. And if you're interested in any of this content that we are going to be speaking, please feel free to look at his work. Phenomenally, so to say, influential work in terms of this WhatsApp understanding, creating the infrastructure, collecting data, putting them together and making these kind of very, very interesting insights. All of these are different papers, a deep dive into COVID-19 related messages on WhatsApp in Pakistan, then research tip lines to uncover misinformation on encrypted platforms. So this is like a phone number that they had set up where you could actually send messages and check whether this message is fake content or not. Images and misinformation in political groups, evidence from WhatsApp in India. So all of these kind of work, right? Politics, COVID-19, a phone number that can behave like a chat bot or give you information about the content that you're sharing. Can WhatsApp benefit from debunked fact-check stories to reduce misinformation? Can you actually do something with the misinformation that are shared, and if you know that it is actually fake and you want to spread some real information, can WhatsApp be the platform to spread the real information? And if you remember the graph, can you reduce the effect of fake information to come down sooner, keeping the WhatsApp as a platform, keeping doing some things to make sure that the effect of the fake news is actually lesser. Can WhatsApp counter misinformation by limiting message forwarding, right? That's another question you can ask, which is that just the number of messages that people are forwarding from WhatsApp, if you just reduce it from X to Y, can the misinformation spread be reduced? So now let's look at data, right? This is just a background on what WhatsApp is, why should we study WhatsApp, what is the scale in which the data is being on WhatsApp, all of that. But let's look at what data can you collect. Public groups. Public groups are the ones by which you can get into groups, right? Because if there's a let's take group for IIIT Hyderabad, it's going to be a private group, and therefore getting into some admin has to approve, or you should get a link to get added to the group, all that. But can we actually find out, for collecting data for WhatsApp, we are limited by the groups that are public. Around 10 to 20% of the communication is through these groups, roughly. And anyone with a group link, chat.whatsapp.com/the group name can join, limited to 256 members per group. This also may be a reason why the spread can be lesser and the number of people in a group can be controlled. And you cannot get into groups that are very popular, right? Whereas if you go to a Facebook page for A.R. Rahman, let's take, there is like a million followers are there. You can go follow, and you can also get added to you can also start seeing the posts that showing up on A.R. Rahman's page. So public lists of groups, there are lots of public groups, meaning we have collected data from WhatsApp public groups during elections 2019. So there are easy ways to actually get added to these public groups, right? Images and misinformation in political groups, evidence for WhatsApp in India. How prevalent is image-based misinformation on WhatsApp? Can we actually put a number around it? Can we measure it? What are the common types of images that are being shared? If you remember last part, we talked about morphed images. We talked about this tractor, this crane and a car image being merged together. Those kind of things, what are the types of images that are being shared on WhatsApp particularly is the question that they were asking. How robustly can we detect image-based misinformation with machine learning methods? Right? Keeping these questions in mind, so image misinformation is highly prevalent in public groups because they saw a lot of them. Again, please remember all of this was done by manual annotation. Same methods that were manual annotation, then put it on a larger data to check or to build the model. Right? Most image misinformation falls into three categories, which some of it we have already seen. Old images are taken out of context. We actually saw this in week 4, part 1, where we talked about how misinformation, what are the different types of ways that the fake content is created. Old images are taken out of context, memes, and photoshopped images. So this one is about creating a system, creating an infrastructure which can actually start collecting data and producing results, which is a web-based system that helps researchers and journalists explore the nature of content shared on WhatsApp public groups from 2 different contexts, Brazil and India. Right? So we are, so this one is used for setting up this dashboard where you can actually see the messages that are coming through in terms of Brazil and Indian elections. Just a peek into the dashboard, giving you some information. So this is essentially most shared content in WhatsApp groups as of this date, and it's giving you images, videos, messages, URLs, audios, and it is showing you all the, so to say, thumbnails of these images that are shared. WhatsApp shares, total number of shares, total number of groups that are shared, users that are shared, groups on web, and evaluate the content that you're wanting to evaluate. Once an instant is chosen and user logs in, the user is taken to a dashboard which gives you these details. Right? Simple dashboard giving you details of how much the information is spreading. That's all. Simple statistics of the images. Of course, feel free to go take a look at the paper. Paper gives you a lot of details about what else they have done. But for us, the interest is that WhatsApp as a platform, misinformation as a problem, how it was actually put together. Tip line. A tip line is a dedicated service to which messages, tips can be submitted by the users. So where users are forwarding the fake content, right? On WhatsApp, a tip line would be a phone number to which WhatsApp users can forward information they see in order to have it evaluated by the fact checkers. The goal is here, right? So I set up a number. You have a WhatsApp message that you want to fact check. You forward that message to this number, and the number can come back to you saying that this is real, this is fake, this part is real, this part is fake. Of course, it also depends on how popular this tip line is, right? The more and more we promote the tip line number and more users use it, the system can also keep getting better. So here are some examples of the text that was forwarded. UNESCO declared India's Jana Gana Mana the world's best national anthem. Is it real, fake? Can you forward it to this number and check? Goal India is on the average, it's on the verge of ruin, 85 crores lost due to Modi. Some details about some activity and then checking whether this is real or fake. And then this part we have already seen, grammar and spelling errors are sort of say natural in these kind of fake content because it comes with it only, and the content we analyze includes messages in multiple languages and formats. So they caught content from multiple languages and multiple formats with text, image, and video, all that. Of course, the number that they got also was very small because I think it is harder to popularize these kind of numbers and get more and more people to use it. How effective are tip lines for identifying potentially misleading content on encrypted social media platforms like WhatsApp? Effectiveness of tip lines are determined by speed, which is this one graph will tell you how long it took for an item to be shared by someone to the tip line, which is, so if you say that, if you see that PK got a message at time 0, when does he actually send it to tip line? Right? That's a good metric. This time is a good metric to say that people are using it to forward the messages, that people are how effectively they are also using it. Roughly 50% of all the content was shared in the public groups first. It came on the public group, then came on the tip line. So if you see this one is the top 10% of the content. This is the all content that was posted. Right? So roughly 50%. So this is the days difference between public groups and the tip line. So if you see here where it is crossing, it's about 50%. That's how this 50 came. Right? So it is to say that, look, some messages were posted before, right? Before it came in the public group, there are messages that a small set of messages are posted. And if you see the public groups, it comes first in the public group is the positive side. And top 10% is, of course, top 10% has being shared more. That's why they took top 10% and looked at it. Right? Item shared on the public group first, item shared on the tip line first. Right? So therefore, it is 50%. Therefore, the goal that they had was how much information is being spread on the tip line, which also comes on social, right? That's what they tried getting, and they found that 50% of the content was shared in the public groups first. That is this side. Same graph. So if you look at this, around 80%, which is this content, around 80% was shared on the tip line before being shared on the public groups, indicating that the tip line does a good job covering the most shared content. So if you look at the top 10%, large amount of content is, so let's go back again, just to make sure that you've understood it. This one is the all content and 50%. The left-hand side is the 1 day's difference between public groups and tip line. And the left-hand side is the item shared on the public group first, right? Public group first, and item shared on the tip line first. That is this one, right? I hope that's clear. So now we are going to look at only the ones that were shared on the tip line. So if you see that it's around 80% of the shared on tip line before being shared on the public groups for the top 10%. I hope that helps you to understand how the content is being shared on a tip line versus the public group. Now, effectiveness of tip lines in 3 ways. Overlap with the content in the public groups. So you will see tip lines have good coverage of popular content. That is 67% of the images shared more than 100 times in the public groups were also submitted to the tip line. So it's basically saying that if it was shared more than 100 times on the public groups, there's a chance of 67% it coming on the tip line. So this one, if you see, 23% of the text messages shared more than 100 times, this is 100 to 1,000 times, on the public groups were also submitted to the tip line. Number of shares in the public groups and number of posts in the tip line. So this is in the x-axis, the percentage is in the y-axis. So this one is a greater than 100, 67% of the images shared more than 100 times in the public group were submitted to the tip line. So it is getting spread on the public group and it also comes on the tip line. So which means the messages that are spreading over to more and more people, some of them are interested in checking whether it is fake or real. Okay, so that wraps up a little bit of an analysis side. The idea for us was to showcase the way in which WhatsApp can be used to collect data to analyze fake content on the platform. Now let's look at some data sets. I think one of the other things that you may be interested is that what next, right? Okay, you understood that WhatsApp is there, you can collect this data. Should all of you set up infrastructure to collect the data? May not be. So that's why some data sets that are publicly available, we have put together these data sets which you can actually use to start somewhere if you want to take this up. So the left one is a liar data set, the right one is a liar plus data set. This one has 12,800 posts taken from politifact.com. So these are basically statements, 12,800. The last quarter it was just announced our gross domestic product was below zero, blah, blah, blah. Speaker is this. Context is this presidential announcement. Speech label is pants on fire, some explanation that is given, and justification according to Bureau, blah, blah, blah. This is what it is. Right? Pants on fire is a categorization that they have given. So they are saying that according to Bureau of Economic Analysis and National Bureau of Economic Research, the growth in the gross domestic product has been below zero 42 times over 60 years. That's a lot more than never. And we rate this claim pants on fire. In this case, it is statement says Rick Scott cut education to pay for even more tax breaks, blah, blah, blah. Speaker, context, half true, and then they write about why they think it's actually half true. So why are these data sets very important? These data sets, meaning if you want to start building some methods right now on fake content, I think you can take this data, right? Meaning I'm going to show you more data sets which you can use. This one is fakes data set. Specifically, it was collected for the area, for the topic called Syrian war and news articles. 804 news articles were tagged as fake and real. And the different features that they captured was actor, that is Russian troops, that is self-administration forces, who were there in the article about whom it was discussed, cause of death, date of death, name of the person, place of birth, place of death, demographic, which is male, female, and status, which is civilian or non-civilian. Right. Again, these are many different events that people have studied and created these kinds of data sets. Next one is NELA-GT Repository, which is 1.8 million active articles, 367 different sources. They collected 1.8 million articles. It was, this data has been produced many times. That's why they have added the year also as part of the name of the paper itself. This is 2021, and this is the 4th edition of the data. The veracity levels, which is on a, meaning it could be like most fake to so to say, least fake, let's take, or to even most real, right? Some scale they took, and then they annotated the data. And here again, like in the last slide, what are the data that is available? ID, date, source, title, content, author, published time as unique timestamp, and collection time as unique. Published time as it was published in April 2022. We collected the data in January 2023, and URL of the article. So these are the pieces of information available about the article. MediaEval 2015 and 2016 data set. Here, the leftmost pictures is real photo. Some of these events we have already discussed. You have seen this picture multiple times already. A real photo of two Vietnamese siblings, but being presented as was captured during the Nepal 2015 earthquakes. Photos of spliced sharks taken during Hurricane Sandy. A beautiful artwork portrayed as a picture of solar eclipse of March 2015. So all these kinds of almost all slides, right? All slides will have some sources at the end. Feel free to go take a look at it if that is of interest to you. Fake data set, fake news data set, a repository with news content, social context, spatiotemporal information of studying fake news on social media. This is basically, if you look at these data sets, these are sources that they have taken, which is different data sets. Liar we already saw, right? They looked at older data sets, which had linguistic feature, visual data, user information, post, content itself, what is the response of the post, network, who's connected to whom, spatial, temporal, right? Geographically from where the post came from, and temporally what time did the post come from. It looks like the fake news data set has all of them in it. Compared to, let's take for example, Liar did not have a network information, who posted whom, who retweeted. That information was not there in Liar. So this is FakeNewsNet and FakeNewsNet. Here is the actual data, right? So the GitHub link is here. News content, social content, spatio-temporal information. This we saw on the last slide. Visual, linguistic, user, post, response, network, spatial, temporal. And what are the features that they capture? They captured these two, right? PolitiFact and gossip. Political information and gossips that were collected, and they were tagged as fake and real. So it's not just the political information always that is studied in context of fake news. Any generic event also, right? If you remember last part, we talked about 14 different events that were collected for fake news analysis. Fact drill. This is the Indian specific data. There are 14 languages in the data set. Here are the languages that are listed. 2013 to 2020 data, 22,435 fact-check social media content, and there are multiple modalities. And if you see here, so this is one example of the data in the fact drill, which is it has the website name, it has the article link, it has unique ID for each and every post. It is taken for politics in this case, title of the article, links in text, the different links that the article is referring to, and the tweet itself, the tweet that was posted, and also the links that I said before. Right. So how the fact-checking company used all of this to make a choice is also described here, which can be actually very, very useful. Claim, right? Claim is written here. What does the article claim? And what is the explanation why this content is actually being flagged as fake content. So I hope that gives you a sense of two things. One, WhatsApp as a source for data, and one, different sources. And again, as always in the past, The list of datasets here is not comprehensive. It is not a complete list of all the dataset. I'm sure there are other datasets. These are datasets that we have come across and we thought that you would be interested in doing. And these are also simple datasets which you can actually start using it very quickly. That's all we had for part 3. And the next part, which is the final part of the week 5 content, is actually on the solutions that you can build. Now that we have learned what is fake news, how spreading, right? Research done on top of it, and what are the methods that people have used, everything. Now we can actually build a system to do all of it. To actually give an input of a tweet, tell me the output whether it is fake or not. Full pipeline, right? That's what I meant. So that's what we'll see in next pod. Thank you for listening. See you soon.